and there's a thing that says 360 view. And I have a folder size, and that is how big my course is. And unfortunately, it's more complicated than that, and we don't really need to get into how to fix that part, but there's a procedure we can use to actually fix it without getting into getting in behind the scenes. But right now, as simple as this, it can be explained is basically the stuff you put in your course is this, it all adds up, and here's the total. So we have some courses that are too large. They surpass that 750 meg mark because there's videos in there. There's not a lot of courses like that, but with our phones today, they're such high quality that a short little 4-minute video could be 150, 200, could be 2 gigs. Like it could be over your limit with one little short little video. So PDF files can be big, but the only reason a PDF file is big if you're using images probably that you took with a really high quality camera and then you didn't reduce the size. So if you think you're that type of person that has really big PDF files for no reason, we can help you after the fact, but it's basically a PDF file really shouldn't be that big. And there's ways of quickly reducing the size of a PDF, because if you're viewing it for screen and it's not for high quality like magazine print, it won't make a difference to the student as far as how it's viewed. So, but right now, PDFs are a tiny, tiny, tiny problem. But videos, and again, not a huge a lot of people put them on YouTube or Vimeo, that's where they should go. But if you are putting them in Blackboard, please let us know and we can show you the alternatives, because it can't be sustained. And the other problem with putting in videos in Blackboard is you are at the mercy of your computer is uploading a file type like MP4, for example. But every MP4 is not created the same. So you may be able to view it on your computer, but on a student computer, it might look different and it might act different on their computer depending on their device that's viewing it. So that's why YouTube, guys that created YouTube are billionaires, because they standardize a really confusing process, 6 or 7 or 10 years ago. So it's not good for the student and it's not good for your course size. But again, give me a green if you want to admit, you know what, I'm guilty of the video, and give me a red if you're like, and I know it's confusing, but red is I don't use videos. I'm good to go. But give me a green, and if you don't want to admit it, I'm okay with that. I'm just curious if there's anyone out there that said, "Oh, I actually didn't know that I was supposed to not upload a video," and that's okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So let us know how we can help. YouTube is a great way to do it. Vimeo is a paid subscription, but it's not very expensive, and it could handle a whole department if it's something that you really wanted to do. But YouTube is a pretty great place to store your videos, and you don't have to have them so the whole world can see them. Okay, so that's the basics, and I'm going to see if I can jump here. So the problem, okay, great question, Ashley. So Ashley's asking about the recorded Blackboard Collaborate. So that is a really good thing. We need to separate those two things. Blackboard Learn is what we're talking about today. Blackboard Collaborate is what we're using to synchronously have our workshop today. They're both on separate servers, and we pay for them separately. So Collaborate is also a problem, but we're not talking about that today, and that's not really your problem. Keep recording your lectures and classes as much as you want. But yeah, that's a totally separate issue, and they're not related because they're not on the same server. Does that help answer that question? Awesome, because that was a great question. Thank you. Okay, the issue with that simple little course size that I shared with you, and we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about that, is that doesn't include, hey, students, submit a file to me. So again, I've looked at lots of courses, and there's courses where the instructor put an assignment tool and said, submit your YouTube link to me, that the video that you created. But students see that they have the ability to do whatever they want there, and they can upload a file, so they don't. And so it's not the instructor's fault, but that also increases your course size, which also Blackboard wants to charge us for. And then there's this thing that I honestly don't quite 100% understand, and I don't know Janelle and Ray do, but there's something called legacy files. And these are files that get dragged along with your old course content as you copy your courses. And we're going to go through of how we can eliminate those legacy files without really completely understanding them. Yes, so let's see what we can do with that one, Shauna, and we're going to still be working on that, and we might have to send out some instructions after this. Yes, I know they're a bit of a confusion point for all of us. Ray, Janelle, are you 100% in understanding those?
Not 100%, but they are a big factor in contributing to course size.
Okay. So as I go ahead, Ray, I see you have your mic on.
Just not really much expertise, so we'll work it out.
Yeah, so we'll go through it, and we'll see. We might have to send an update too, because we're still kind of working through that as well. So we want to go through and we want to see what we can do, and maybe delete some files, show you how to kind of look at these files and not lose anything. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be going through. But what we want to do before you touch your course, we want to say, we go down to Packages and Utilities and Export and Archive Course. We think that before we tell you to go in here and muck around in your course, that it might be a good idea to archive it. And there's a couple ways. So if I hit Archive Course right here, it's going to create a up-to-date version of my course, everything that's in it. And this file stays on Blackboard, but it also contributes to space. So, you know, my course, it said it was 100 megs. So now I have an extra 100, 200, 300, 400 megs in there, which is fine, because most content is not that big. And you can kind of go in here and delete the versions just by clicking this and getting rid of older versions. But you can also, again, this wording is kind of dumb. Open is basically download. So you can see that it is downloading that. So go in and pick a course that you think you need to clean up a little bit today and archive it. Just so if I tell you something then and you're like, Stacy, you caused me so much grief, at least we can say, you know what, we can put back that course like you started with today. So it might take 2 minutes. So I'm going to stop talking for 2 minutes, and you can text Janelle, Ray, or myself, or just blurt out if you needed some help. But it's down here at the bottom under Packages and Utilities, Export Archive Course. And there's a couple steps. The first one is archive. The archive will put it on this list. So again, it might take a couple minutes, probably only a minute. You'll have to refresh your list. There's a little refresh button there. And then once it's done, you can even download it, so then it's secure on your own computer, which probably isn't super necessary for today, but you know, if I know it takes a lot of time to build a course, so why not be safe? Give me a green when you're done. And if you're like, I'm not doing it, Stacy, I don't care. I trust you. Give me a green that you are ready to proceed. Like I said, I'll stop talking for a minute. So I'm just going to change my chat here. Sorry. So Denise, Sarah, I see your hand up. Did you click the export package? Because you have to archive the first course first, give it a couple minutes, refresh the screen, and then you should see a zip file show up like you see. I have 4 archives right now on my screen. Does that help? I'll wait for you to reply there in the chat. Okay, and Sarah, go ahead.
Hi, so from the master course, I'm assuming I don't need to archive it because I'm then going to export the master course into my new course, and then I can fiddle around with it in there. Is that right?
If that's what you want to do, but I would suggest not. Because the problem with these legacy files is we're not cleaning up the course before we copy it, and then I think they're coming across.
Okay.
So I would archive your master course, and I know it's scary to go in there and muck with your master course, but that's the only way I think we're going to get on top of this one.
Okay. What happens when it's not your master course?
Choose a different course.
I'm gonna go find something else. Thank you.
Okay. I could have given some bad advice there. Yeah, and I'll repeat this again, but when you click that button, Blackboard goes, I hear you, but it doesn't say I hear you. So if you click it twice, you get 2 archives. If you hit copy twice, you get 2 copies. It's not, they have this kind of delay in there, but then they're like, we're still going to do everything that you want to do. So.
And Stacy, after we archive it, you want us to also export it to our computer so we have it in case we destroy it?
Yeah. It's not probably that necessary, but what the heck, why not, right? Why not be safe? It's a click of a button.
And I'm just using all the presets here. I'm not changing anything.
I would select everything when you hit that. Like, so if I hit archive this course, I would use all these presets. Yes.
Okay, I didn't select all. I just went with the preset then.
Yeah, presets are fine. What is the? I'm just reading yours. Between an archive file and an export file. You know what? Ray, Janelle?
That's a good question.
Oh, I know. An export file is you are identifying specific things from your course. So say you don't want everything, you're going to export a chunk of your course. An archive is like, just give me the whole thing as is. I don't want to fiddle with it. Does that make sense? Again, Ashley, great question.
Ray, can you tell if I did it properly? Because I didn't click when it says select all. I just went with the first 2 toggles. So do
Yeah, so you clicked archive course, Denise?
I just clicked archive course and then I did submit. I didn't go and do the select all.
Nope. So archive gives you everything. You don't
Okay.
have to.
So then I've got everything and then I zip it
Yeah.
and then I export it and I don't know what happened once I hit the export button.
It zips it automatically. So once you refresh that list, you'll see it pop up. It'll have today's date and today's time on it.
Yeah, but where did
And
it
then-
go on my
then-
computer? Oh, there we go.
Oh, in your downloads file.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can move it from there if you want to have a easier place for find it. Yeah, Shauna, it'll be queued, and then you can click that refresh button to see if it's ready to go. Awesome.
Okay, I got both of them too.
Awesome. So I'll slowly start talking here. We're not going to be actually hitting the delete key just yet. Let's go down and have a look at, and remember, all course content and then your name. So it's the name of your course. Do not click all course content. That's going to be really confusing. You can look in there, but it's the top link that we want. And it should have that same name at the top. So with this list, I like to go show all if you, so you can kind of see everything. And then I like to click on the size and sort by size to see if I have anything really big in here. So this course, it does have a movie in here that's 31 meg, so it's not that big, but it shouldn't be in there. And I purposely put it in here for this demonstration. And I also have these folders. So go into your content area and have that list queued up so we can kind of look at your sizes. So give me let's use the chat, and I'm going to just kind of look at some of these things. We have these files here, these CTL training imported content. So I purposely have a few of these in here. And I mean, if you don't like size, if there's nothing big in there, you can also, if you sort by name, you'll get those folders together. So kind of toggle between those. Let's start. The total is at course content at the very top under here, under 360 view. It opens up a new tab. So remember, you can just close it when you're finished, and it'll give you that folder size, but not the legacy folder size. Janelle, how do we see that legacy folder size? Can instructor see that?
If they're going into the imported content folders.
Anywhere can they see that? Like, I know I can see it on the admin side, but can instructors see the legacy size of their course?
I don't think so.
Shauna mentioned that that's her problem. So I wonder if Shauna, can you see it? Because again, we look at it from the admin side. So
Yeah, I can't.
I can. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I can't see it. So
Shauna, go ahead. Okay, you can't
when
see it, Denise?
no, because it says my folder size is only, if I go under the total one, it's only 160 megabytes, but I know it's more than that if I add all the bits together on the side.
When I open my course content and I sort it by size, it shows imported content in its own folder. And that's my old stuff, I believe. That's at 217 megabytes, I'm guessing. I'm not sure if that's all old stuff.
Okay.
And I think the rest is what I may have uploaded this past semester. I think that's how I see the legacy stuff. Is it supposed to show up with that title somewhere?
No, it's a kind of a heading that we see when we look at the admin side, and it is a number that it's really hard to determine where that's coming from. But Janelle, like even the course that I show here, I guess that all does add up to 100 megs when you think about it. So I do
Yeah, and
believe
like I don't have like really admin privileges like you do in Blackboard. So when you speak of legacy course size, I think I can access that either.
it's right here. So
Oh, okay.
let's see. So this course, the course size is 2.3 gigs, but there's also a legacy. Well, this one doesn't have a big. This one has a legacy file of 4.2 gigs, but the course size is one gig. So that's what is a bit confusing.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone have any big files? Let's just start there. Anybody have any huge files in their course?
Stacy, in our course we post the PDFs of our PowerPoints.
Sure.
And sometimes those are big, so I'm not sure the best way to post PowerPoint slides.
Is there videos in your PowerPoints?
I don't think so. Nope.
Okay. So what happens then sometimes is the photos that you're using in your PowerPoint are really big. Like, I mean, when you think of a picture you take with your iPhone, one photo, how big is one photo on a iPhone 10? I think it's, if you haven't changed the settings, one photo is pretty huge. So if you were using those in your PowerPoint, they'd be pretty big. So in PowerPoint, and Ray and Janelle may have something posted on this, and they're the PC experts, but and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's a button that says, make this PowerPoint small, this whole presentation smaller.
Oh.
Janelle, is that possible? I believe it is, but putting them on the spot here. Ray?
I think there is, but I haven't used it in a while.
Yeah,
So
I don't use Google Drive to link it anymore because you can't just link it in Collaborate. So.
Oh, from the PowerPoint presentation, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes, you'd have to share your screen then if you're to do the Google Drive. But Ray, go ahead. Sorry, Ken.
So there is a feature. I worked with an art instructor who had massive, very large PDFs. He had them initially in PowerPoint, and then he saved them as a PDF, and they're very large because of the pictures. Yeah. Adobe Acrobat is entitled to faculty to have, not Adobe Acrobat Reader, but the full version of Adobe Acrobat. So you can get it from IT. And there is a simple feature there that you can drop it down to easily 10% of the full size. And it does not drop in quality from just looking at it from a monitor.
Yeah, see, because a PDF is meant to print when it was first introduced, and now they've introduced all this compression so that you can take a normal PDF. And Ray does have a point. You need that Acrobat distiller to be able to do it, but you can reduce it, yeah, like by 10%, down by 10% kind of thing, or to 10% of its original size.
Correct.
Yeah, and having your PowerPoint as a PDF is a really nice way to get it into Blackboard without, you know how I know I hear stories that I put my PowerPoint into Collaborate and it kind of messed it up. If you go to PDF first, it's gonna look exactly the way you want it. But the links, back to the question about the links on Google Slides, what's the difference between PowerPoint? Because those links would disappear too. Would they not?
I don't know how to do it. I only know how to just upload the PowerPoint to. I don't think Blackboard Collaborate plays that nicely with Google.
Oh no! So in Google, Google Slides, for example, you would download that as a PDF and then upload it to. Yeah, but you still have to do that with PowerPoint. Well, you can take the PowerPoint directly to Collaborate, but I probably would go PDF first, just so I know what exactly it's going to look like. Not the
Yeah.
mercy of the Collaborate conversion.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that is a concern, Denise. But it's not your internet, it's your computer. So if your computer is, less than or not more than 2 or 3 years old, you can have a lot of tabs. You can have a lot of stuff open. Oh, definitely. Your space on your hard drive is getting low. That can cause major issues. So, okay. So nobody volunteered some great big files. They talked about PDFs that are big. That's okay. But now let's look at this CTL. You know what? Before we do that, let's look at an individual file because that's easier. So say you have a PDF that's pretty big and you notice that on your list, it shows up more than once. So we are always afraid to tell people to delete stuff because you're in your course and you say, oh, there's 3 of those, delete 2 of them. And what if you delete the wrong one? And then it's not linked on your course anymore, and then you're mad at us. So we want to talk about how can we check if these 2 are the same, like these 2. You can tell because if you upload something twice, it'll add numbers to it. So if I uploaded it 3 times, it would add, it would count this up. All right, Denise, here we go. So I click on the drop down beside that, and I look at the 360 view. And then I look down here, and it said I look at links. And remember, this is for individual files. It says no links available. Simple as that. So I go back here, I can click that and delete it and not worry that it's linked somewhere in my course. Does that make sense? Give me a green if it makes sense. Give me a red if you're like, you went too fast. Again. No check mark means you're not listening, so just so you guys know. Oh, Shauna. So, it's super important to look at the drop down beside the file. And because it's different for folders, but the file itself, 360 view, gets you this screen, and then there is a links area here. Did that help? And it says no links available. That means this file is good to delete. Awesome. Thanks for being honest and asking the question again. Gold star. Okay. So folders. I know that we have these. I just did something weird there. We have these folders that are these imported content, and I think this is where. Oh, delete. Sorry. Right there. Delete. The little drop down, and then delete.
Stacy,
Yes.
what if both of them are linked? And it is a copy of it.
You asked the hard questions, hey?
Yeah, right? Nothing's easy.
No. I'm trying to think of a scenario where it could be both linked.
In the link areas, doesn't it show where it's linked in the course content?
Good idea, Janelle. Let's have a look. Oh, this one is linked. Oh, that one's not linked. I have one that's. Oh, I deleted that link. Does it show where it's linked? Because it should show.
Yes, it does show where it's linked.
So are the 2 places that it's linked, are they the same? Because if they are, that's going to confuse us.
Just checking here.
No problem.
Think they're the same? It looks like they're the same.
Course ID, course name, course item. So that it's the course item is where you want to look. Item, and then Is the item exactly the same?
Yeah. The item is the same. Yeah.
Janelle, what's happening? That's a curious question.
If they're both linked, I would think you for sure wouldn't want to delete either of them. Because could they both be linked in the same area?
What if they're duplicate files? I don't understand. Sarah, I see your hand up. We'll give us 1 minute to. Any ideas? All right, Sarah, go ahead.
So with the course I'm looking at, I've got like pages and pages and pages and pages of stuff to go through. And I know you just mentioned imported files or whatnot from the past. But what if you've got, like, I've got duplicates, so like 1, 2, 3, 4 of multiple things, multiple times of the same one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I've gone back to the course. I've really got a really befuddled one that I just had to just erase stuff constantly just to try and make it fit last semester. So is there a simpler way to then be able to scroll through this, or is it literally just sitting down for hours and going through? Does that make sense?
There's no real simple way. But when you think about your course, and again, if you've inherited a course from somebody else, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about your course and folders in your course,
Mm-hmm.
did you guys, like this is a question for everybody, did you go into this course content area and ever upload a folder? Right? So I think the folders are a way that you could go through and get rid of a lot of content. So let's look at, and you guys have courses out there that you're working with, so you guys are great ones to bounce this off of. So let's look at that folder now. So this 360 view in a folder, you're going to click on that and you're going to see the links area, and it's probably going to say no links available, but then you're going to go down to this file area and files and subfolder, and then you're going to have check marks whether or not that folder is linked, or sorry, the items in that folder are linked. So let's hear some feedback there of what you guys are seeing. So can you click on some of those older, where you think those folders may be coming across from old courses? Can you go in there and see an area where one may have check marks and one may have not check marks? Sarah, go ahead. Is your hand up from before, or?
No, I'm good. Sorry. I'll take my
No.
But I'm going to ask you this question now. So
Go for it.
when you look at the 360 view in one of the folders, it would say like imports of different files in that folder came at different times. So it was like, let's say December 2nd, December 12th, December 20th, were all within that folder. So does that mean at times things were originally imported into that folder and then that whole folder was taken and then copied multiple times?
Yes, that means so when you take an existing course and move it to a new course,
Yeah.
it'll put everything in a folder, but it'll retain those dates of when things were uploaded into that original folder.
Okay. All right. So then my question is, with these master courses, I'm not in a master course right now, but we were all certainly working in it. Is that just a really bad thing to do?
It's a debatable topic.
Okay.
I don't have a simple answer to that. If I did have to provide a simple answer right on the spot, I would say do you have a course where you have multiple people teaching the same course, possibly part-time people that kind of have to roll in and you're like, this is what we want you to teach. Here's your course.
Yes, I'm one of those part-timers.
So then the master course isn't a bad idea, but I just know, and I don't know your department and how it works, but I just know some departments that use master courses effectively. They let like 2 people touch the master course.
Yeah.
And some they let one person, like it depends on how much work and sometimes they'll each take their own master and they're the only ones that edit that course.
Right.
And then that person goes, hey, I got to teach this, and they're like, here you go.
Right.
And they won't take that course that's copied and bring it back unless that person says, I did a few things here that were really good, and then okay, well, we're going to take some time and we're going to add those to the master.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly what's happened. Like I've been a part-timer now for 7 years. So I have the knowledge base, but
Yeah.
it was being built by my colleague who was, we were working off of each other. So I was bringing in old stuff that was great for my course, yada, yada, exactly what you just said there. So I think that is exactly how it got so grandiose in the end.
Yes, and that's what has to be organized with the master courses. So Aaron, if you're an instructor that goes, I teach this course, and other people might teach the same course, but they have their own Blackboard course. We don't, we share things here and there, but we're not sitting down and building the same course. It's my course. I wouldn't use a master then, and I know Blackboard Bob suggests it, but if I'm working on my own course and I build it and I teach it, I might be going through my course that I teach and going, I'm going to tweak this a little bit, and I'm going to get rid of this. And when I'm done, I might have a better course than I started with. So I don't want to go through and do that again in my master course, and I think it's too confusing. I think the power of the master is with multiple people organized at somebody. I am the king of this queen or this master course, and no one else touches it. So I think we have to get into these courses and really look at these legacy files. And if you have a course that's been inherited from another person that you started with, I think that it might be a good idea to really have a look at how things and how it's built, and if you're going to be teaching it for a while. So did anyone find a folder in here that shows like when they have these multiple imported content? Did you find a folder that has a bunch of linked files, and did you find a folder that has no linked files? I guess that's the treasure I'm looking for. Okay, so you had a few. Then could you find a folder that has 0 files linked? Okay, no problem. Ashley, go ahead.
This might have been what Shauna was referring to. Like, I'll look at an imported file or imported content file, and I'll have whatever, a handful of green check marks, and then I have 3 pages that have no green check marks. So there's some linked content, but there's a lot of old stuff in there that's not.
Yes. So I think that could be happening with as we go through and we teach these courses, how things get copied, and then you're editing this version of it and it goes across. So those multiple years of copying and moving over. So Janelle, if I have a course that is completely, say, brand new, I only taught it once, and I uploaded five things. I copy that course next year. Do I get a folder of imported content? or do I get those 5 loose folders?
I believe you get a folder.
Well, as you look through, or as you look through your course, I'm wondering if I should do an experiment right now. Janelle, Ray, Krista, go ahead.
Sorry, Stacy, this might be a little bit off topic. Like, I'm looking through these files right now, and so I had to do some bulk deleting at the beginning of the term because I couldn't finish anything. And what I was finding is that there was probably 10 years worth of files, like new and old files that were now embedded in the current course. So when I was doing the deleting, I was trying to be mindful of that 360-degree view and not destroy any links. But when I was opening up some image folders, they were kind of showing up as just black boxes. So I thought, oh, it's probably safe to get rid of those. I deleted, and as I was going through my course, like this is for a math course, so I probably had hundreds and hundreds of equations embedded in like online testing and quizzes with hundreds and hundreds of solutions. So what I realized is I don't know what I deleted. It might have been an images kind of folder, but my math equations weren't showing up as formatted equations anymore. They were literally typed out. Like instead of the number 3, it was the word 3. You know, like 3 parentheses 5. You know, like it was all literally typed and not formatted as an equation. What I'm wondering is if I were to like copy just a math images folder, because there's this weird folder called math images, and it's not something that I've saved. It must be coming from the equation editor in Blackboard. If I copy that math images folder into my new course, would those links reappear, or are they broken forever? Do you know what I mean?
They should reappear. The content area is pretty smart, so those links remember. So if that folder hasn't changed names or location, it should reappear.
Okay. Because I thought I'd just have to go back to an older version of the course so that I could have those images back, but I've made modifications, so I kind of want I want the best of both, but I don't know how to put them together now.
If you remember that, like what level, folder level that math folder was in, if you put it back in that same level, they should come back.
Okay, because it was just in the huge imported course folder, right? One of the sub files was math images.
Yeah, so I just put it back there. And those files aren't going to be very big, because what happens is that's that math editor. Once you finish that equation, it changes the whole thing into an image.
Okay, so that's the problem. Okay.
Creating them. Yeah. Really good point. Thank you. You can see that this is not a simple thing. Sarah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just basing off in chat as well, because it sounds like this is all our issues. So with the links, then if for some reason you deleted a link and you didn't know it, this is in the past, or you weren't aware, and then you have a student halfway through the course with, like, you've thought you hid things, they're nowhere to be seen, yada yada, and then they're like, oh, well, we have a assignment, it says that's due next week. And for me, I was like, well, what do you mean there are no? I've shut down every possible thing that you could be getting at this assignment, but somewhere there's got to be a link taking those students to that assignment. How on earth do you find that? So I thought I got rid of everything, but there's still some sort of connection there somewhere. Is it just mean that somewhere in those 57 pages of files that there is one assignment still there with a direct link that the students are seeing?
Yeah, you know, Ray and Janelle, I'll be honest, I don't quite understand the assignment. Like when you say assignment link, So if you could show me, that would be good. If you want to share your screen, or like if I go to an area here where I actually have an assignment, this is my assignment link. Are you saying that this assignment link lives somewhere else?
Well, it might, so for example, I might have shut it. Let's say in this term, I didn't want to do this SA2. So
Okay.
I hid it from student view.
Sure.
Okay. And then I also knew that SA2 was going to pop up in the left-hand side in under assignments. And so I blocked it off from there too. So I've blocked it off now in the only two places where I assume that those students could get to that SA2. But then I get an email saying, oh my gosh, SA2 is due tomorrow and I don't even know what it is. Where on earth are they getting that from?
Okay, so
does it show up in the calendar somewhere as an alert to them?
It's showing up in the task on the homepage usually, or the to-do tasks.
right.
Okay.
And are you,
So that is something that they only see, not us?
Well, you can see it if you go into student view.
it's an individual thing, right? Like, so all those tasks, calendars, those are all individual things. So that assignment that you have, did you say make unavailable from the original spot, or did you hide the assignment link in the assignment? Does that make sense?
I had made unavailable. I hid it. You know, I thought I did a tidy job of making sure it didn't exist for the students, but clearly didn't. Because I think what happens is
Oh, the grade center. Sorry, I just thought Marilyn put something down, but it could be the grade center as well, right? Could that be?
so then you would go and hide it in the grade center.
Well, when you have an essay, as soon as I create this SA2, whether it's available or not, it's going to create a column in the gradebook. So if that column is available to students, they'll see it when they go to my grades. Does that make
That's outstanding. Okay.
Not even outstanding. It's just like they get a grid of all the assignments in the class. So it's just like, so if you haven't gone into the grade center and hid it, then they'll see it in their my grades area. Does that make sense?
Okay. So that I don't know for certain where it was because I'm working on last year's last term's course.
So you can try this. You can go edit, enter student preview, and you can click on my grades.
Okay, and just see if it can.
And then these are, if it's visible to students, see everything shows up. So you have to go into the grade center and actually say, because there's a hide from yourself and there's hide from students. That's two different buttons.
So I'm in student view, so then I go under my grades.
My grades.
Yeah. So it's nothing showing up, but
And you went to, you clicked on all?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing, it might not be what you've done, but it's something I've done in the past when I taught online. It is, I used to create an assignment and then I'd be like typing something out in the assignment itself, or maybe in the course outline, and I would say, hey, this is due whatever, and then I'd put it in somewhere else in the course, and then I'd be getting, I thought this was due on the 14th, and I'm like, oh, because I copied the course over. So what I started doing is I stopped linking the assignment tool anywhere, and I used the assignment tool in one spot wherever I chose to put it. I didn't put it anywhere else, and I didn't mention the date anywhere else. They had to click on the assignment tool to see the date it's due. That's the only spot I put that date in.
So you would have never ever put it in the weeks. You would have put it all the assignments just in the assignment tool.
I particularly put it in the weeks, but I know some people put it in just the assignment area. I put it in the weeks, and I didn't create an assignment area. I used to do that, and then I stopped. I just thought, you know what, we're in week 3 right now. This is what you got to do. Go to week 3, get it done.
Okay.
And then just because I'm a bit of a scatterbrain when it comes to organizing stuff, so if I can pull out those denominators that are causing the problem, then I won't get those questions where I'm like, oh man, I forgot to click that one too. So I'd go through that course, I thought, with a fine-tooth comb, and then I'd be like, oh man, I did forget to change it in that one spot. So then I eliminated those spots.
Okay, and then by erasing it in the assignments and deleting it, then you're just deleting the assignment, but it should show up obviously within your.
And remember, when you delete assignment, it doesn't delete it out of the grade book. It'll still be in there.
Okay.
It's a double delete.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so I'm just looking at my list here. So when I'm going through this, and I mentioned before, when you build your course, if you don't these folders, if you didn't use any folders, you shouldn't have that many folders in there. And as you upload files, it's a bit of a confusing thing when you really break it down, because you're going to get a new folder each time, right, Janelle and Ray?
Yes, unless you're copying from a master course, then you won't have a lot of folders. But if you're copying semester to semester, it'll start building up.
Correct.
As we go through this, to be honest with you guys are giving us probably more information than we're giving you today. Just because, just by talking to everyone and hearing everyone's problems, I think that the 3 of us have to go back and discuss, like, what is the best procedure in keeping these courses super organized. So Ray, if I have a course that's 10 years old, I'll have 10 folders in there with links. As my course develops, I'll have 10 folders in there with links from each year. As I add links and subtract links, those folders will just keep going. Yeah, no, I'm thinking out loud, so I'm sorry about that. Because going back to Aaron's question about, maybe the master course is the only way to go. I don't like it. I don't like the way that works.
Well, the only challenge with the master course is that you have to be very vigilant as you're teaching the course to put stuff in your master's course, but just the first time that you do it. Then subsequent years you'll be fine.
Yeah. I think, you know what, I'm going to take a screenshot of everyone that's here. Ray, Janelle, I think we owe the group here to have a little meeting and come up with, a little sheet that says this is what we came up with, and do some experiments on some things, or even create a video for you guys to send out. What do you think?
So just to jump in here, the biggest thing that we've seen, and where we've had issues with working with faculty, and some of those points that I posted in there, is the copying. So we see some people copying, it doesn't immediately show up, because depending on the time of year, the Blackboard server can be slow, and people can do it 3 or 4 or 5 times. So I think, just to be general, just initially, be aware of some of the points that I listed there. Be aware of, obviously, if you look into your course content like you showed, when you see the same name file 6 times with the words, 1, 2, 3 behind them or whatever, those are just copies. So I think generally, if we just take a general view of it and kind of be aware of those kinds of things, I totally agree. Like the legacy files, I don't see them either, like Janelle said. I have no experience with legacy files. I think for the people that still have some issues after they've done the initial cleanup, then we can work on them on a one-on-one basis. And if we learn more, absolutely, we can reach out to the people here or make a video. But I think generally, look in your content collection, see what's in there, see how big your courses are. Obviously, be aware of videos. We still see faculty uploading videos. It's not the great way to do it. So just some general points. Let's start there.
Okay. And Denise, legacy files, I don't know exactly. They're old files that are attached behind the scenes, and we can't get at them. We can't see them, but we know they're there because they show up in the admin side. So Aaron, I think as I'm thinking, as Ray was talking, I'll just summarize that we're out of time. We're going to create something to send out to you guys. It'll just be simple, but I do have an idea, just even for Aaron's question. As I go through this, I teach a course. I have all my say 10 files. I teach it again. I copy it. I get a folder that says imported content. I teach it again, and I've added a few things. I copy it again. I get 2 folders. I believe, and we'll test this and we'll include it, is I believe if we keep the latest folder and delete the rest, we're fine. So as we go through, I think we can end up with one folder without fiddling with that master, because I feel like the master will take too much time. So that's what we will come back to you with. But just to, again, we're out of time. Keep the videos out of the course. When you get your students to hand in videos, make sure they post them to YouTube and provide the link. And if you're not sure how to make your PDFs or PowerPoints smaller, let us know and we'll help you. 750 megs should be well enough. Now, if you are going, you know what, I want to go, I like Google, I want to learn how to make my course almost zero, give me a call and set up a meeting. I can show you how you can use Google to make your course super easy to update and basically have nothing in it. So hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for coming. And we will follow up with just a short little blurb about what we discussed here that we are a little bit unsure of. I want to do a little experiment. So have a great day.